It's really weird how that happens all the time when I'm doing a diary. It could be quiet and silent for ages, and I'm doing something, and then all of a sudden I do a diary, and somebody knocks at the door or comes in the room, or the phone goes. So I'm sorry. Just to conclude, really, on the continuation of what I was saying. You can't please everybody all the time. You can only be yourself in a world where everybody is trying to get on, or, make something of themselves, or be seen to be something special. You either feel special inside or you don't. It was never my intention to have Keith back in my life ever again. And as I was saying, sometimes people do, something changes the situation. There are still things to work through, but one of the things that he asked from me, which I felt able to give, was my friendship. For 6 months we were extremely good friends, and I did see an awful lot of good in him. And I've never tried to make out through the diaries that he was a dreadful person. In fact, some people have even said the fact that he wasn't prepared to give up on his former partner, even when he knew he was falling in love with me, and he knew that if I knew he was with somebody, that would have been it from the start. He knew that. But he also had 30 plus years of history. Here we go. And down where he lived, and quite a few years where he wasn't living with her all the time. They knew each other over a certain period of time, and his former partner hasn't always told it to me as it is. This may stir up trouble, but sometimes it has to be said. She's made an awful lot of threats. It wouldn't be my way of going about things, but I'm not her. Threatening to do things to somebody's property and their car and whatever isn't always very nice, but you can understand someone's upset and anger. And as I've said before, it wouldn't be what I would do, but I don't want to cause the lady more angst by, dwelling on that. It has been logged with the police station, and so if something does happen, the police know where to look. They have the names of the people all involved. That's unfortunately what you have to do when you're pushed to that place. You have to protect yourself. At any time, I've always been available for her to come and talk to me, or her daughter. I offered to go down and discuss things. That isn't what they felt they wanted to do, and I accept that. But in these situations, when Keith decided to go back to her and try again to make it work with her, at that point she had the opportunity to do that, to work hard and make it work. She said an awful lot of things to me about how he felt about me and what he was going to do, and they haven't worked out like she thought, same as they didn't work out like I thought. It doesn't mean he's handled it well, and I'm never going to say he handled it well with anybody. I'm never going to condone lying or doing it the way it was done to either of us. We were both hurt. What I will say is, as you get older, you can see alternative points of view. You can see other sides of the story. A lie is still a lie, no matter how you dress it up. But you can see mitigations sometimes. And over the period that this has been going on, I can see certain mitigations, although I still feel that it could and should have been handled totally differently. I haven't agreed that this situation is ideal. I will never do this willingly. I've been through ups and downs, but I can't deny that this situation has set me free from the exile I placed myself in, from dreadful pain, grieving for my children every day. It has unleashed the worst in some people, including members of my own family, who have behaved equally appallingly, and that has to be said. It wasn't all Keith's fault, and I have grown as a person. I have some things to thank him for. We are working things through at the moment. There are no guarantees. Life holds no guarantees at all. But I hope you can see that I am content in myself. I am strong in myself. I'm resolved in myself. That wouldn't have come about without this situation happening. And in fact, all the opposition that has been in my family has only served to show me the weaknesses in them that need dealing with, the problems that they have accepting things, the lack of boundaries that they find difficult to have. I know I've been there for those people always. When called upon, I rose to the occasion, irrespective of what was said, irrespective of what was done. I didn't let them down. I do feel let down. I do feel that there were far, far more reasonable, healthy options that they could make, but I cannot force that. And when innocent people are getting hurt, as I've said before, the only thing you can change is your own stance, your own behaviour. You sometimes have to withdraw, irrespective of how painful that is. You know, I've dealt with painful situations for a long time now. I've dealt with loss for a long time. More loss is just something I know how to handle. But when integrity and when the truth is the casualty in a situation like this, for me, you have to stand by integrity and your own knowledge and your own absolute knowledge of certain situations. But you cannot guarantee anything in life. I will reiterate that. There are no guarantees about people, about situations, about life. Life can change on a sixpence. And all I would say to you all is grab life by the reins, grab them by the testicles, if that's how you see it, and live your life and do the best you can do with it. And if it goes wrong, and if someone lets you down, deal with it in the best way you can. But don't put your responsibility of your happiness on anyone else, because somewhere along the line, if they do let you down, and the people who are saying he will let me down are actually the people who have let me down, and sometimes worse than him. And the lesson and the moral for me here is rely on yourself, sort your problems out, face up to your difficulties, face up to your emotions, deal with it the best way you can. Don't pretend you're perfect, don't pretend you haven't got problems, because you'd be a better person for facing that pain, dealing with it and coming out the other end. And no one can make you a better person. You have to do it yourself. No one can change your pain. They can only add to it, or they can tip you over. In the end, they're not to blame if you don't deal with it properly. You are. And I've learnt some really valuable lessons that I'd forgotten. I've done my homework. Fingers crossed. It may not all be plain sailing, but I'm in a better place in myself to deal with situations and other people's problems and still get on with my life. And God knows I love some of those people dearly, but you know, I can't change something that is not in my power to change. I can only change me. And I'm trying to live life and be happy. Isn't that all what we want? So I hope you have more luck in areas where I've failed, and I hope you are still inspired by the journey that I'm still on and the lessons I'm learning or have yet to learn. Anyway, I'll stop waffling. Take care.